Earlier last year, the world was caught off guard by a sudden death of the young and talented Jeanette Zacarias Zapata. Jeanette Zacarias Zapata. After sustaining multiple brain injuries in the Montreal fight, the 18-year-old boxer fought her last battle in the hospital for 5 long days, but eventually succumbed to the injuries and passed away on September 2nd. In this video, we'll be talking about the events that took place before and after the boxer's unfortunate demise. First, details about the fight. On August 28th, in what was her first fight abroad, Jeanette Zapata fought Marie-Pier Houle of Canada in a 6-round bout welterweight match at the Gym Gala International Boxing event at IGA Stadium. In the 4th round, the Mexican boxer was knocked out after she took a series of hard punches from opponent Marie, who landed a left uppercut and a right hook to end the series of hits, which left the young boxer stunned. Zapata, who was to receive the modest purse of $1,800 Canadian for this fight, struggled to recover from the impact of the last blow and was unable to walk back to her corner. As a result, the fight was waved off after the bell. Moments later, Jeanette's right arm began to convulse and her legs went limp. At this point, she was laid down on the canvas by her husband and trainer, Jovanni Martinez. The Mexican boxer was unconscious for several minutes while the on-site medical team provided her first aid before she was taken off the ring in a stretcher and was rushed to the local hospital by ambulance, accompanied by her husband and 2 representatives from Groupe Yvon Michel. Next, the unfortunate death. Once at the Sacré-Cœur de Montreal hospital, Zapata was quickly admitted into the intensive care unit and placed in a medically induced coma to relax her body and brain. A GoFundMe that received more than $15,000 worth of donations was also set up to help pay for Zapata's recovery costs from the incident. Sadly, despite their best efforts, doctors were unable to save her life. On Thursday, Michel, the president of the promotional company, Groupe Yvon Michel, announced Zapata's death, stating that Jeanette Zapata expired this afternoon at 3:45 p.m. In the news release posted on Twitter, the promoter also wrote that the entire team at Groupe Yvon Michel is extremely distressed by this painful announcement. The team also extended sincere condolences to the grieving family, adding that Jovanni, the husband of the late boxer, wishes to grieve the loss in private. After young Zapata's death, the Mexican Consulate General in Montreal announced the repatriation of her body, for which the mourning parents waited in the Puertocito de la Virgen neighborhood. So, how did Houle respond? The 31-year-old Canadian opponent, who watched Zapata's struggle firsthand, told the Canadian press that this is not something that she had wished to see. She explained that while she was definitely going for the knockout, she would have much rather seen Zapata leave the ring on her own 2 feet rather than being taken out on a stretcher. She added that she hopes everything goes well. Once it became clear that Zapata's condition was critical, Houle posted several messages on Facebook about the incident. She wrote that she was really upset by the scene and never intended to seriously hurt her. In wake of the athlete's death, sympathies quickly poured in from other athletes and members of the boxing community. One message stated that Zapata will forever be remembered as a warrior. While people had nothing but kind words to say about the deceased, they weren't so kind to Marie, who netizens immediately began to attack. They went as far as calling Houle a murderer. Due to this situation, Marie was forced to block her social network account to prevent further negative comments. The fighter broke her silence through her Facebook account, where she posted that she was devastated at the news of Zapata's death and could not believe it. She also sent her condolences to her family. On a later occasion, the beleaguered Marie-Pier told the Canadian press that she feels guilty, even though I know it's part of the risks of our profession. After saying a prayer for the departed soul, the boxer made it clear that she will no longer comment on this tragedy. We understand why the 31-year-old feels guilty, but to pin it all on Houle is utterly unjust. But is there more to this incident? According to the details later revealed by Zapata's father in an interview with a Mexican newspaper, it turns out that a crucial piece of information that may have altered the young athlete's fate had been concealed from the public. Esteban Zacarias, who has previously accompanied his daughter to all her fights and was only unable to do so this time because of passport issues, disclosed the Mexican boxer had received some serious blows to the head in previous matches, severe enough that doctors discussed the possibility of surgery. Due to this, Jeanette was deemed unfit to fight, but despite the prognosis and the constant persuasion by her family to cancel the Montreal bout, Jeanette decided to move forward anyway. What was even more irresponsible was that the health concerns weren't communicated to organizers in Montreal, who, on their end, had done everything possible to verify the competitor's health before the bout. It was only after this interview was released that they came to know about the significant information that had been withheld from them. In a statement released by one of the bout's organizers, Vincent Morin, said that they were trying to understand understand now whether the medical tests were forged or the scans simply didn't detect her particular condition, while her father and coach maintained that they couldn't resist the young boxer's insistence on fighting. The organizers are still unable to comprehend how they could have allowed a physically unfit Zapata to fight. In an interview, the boxer's father reflected back on his conversation with his daughter and remembered her saying, "I chose this career, and if I die this way, boxing in this bout, then I'll die." How truly heartbreaking. If only she had known the weight of her words. Whether her father regrets letting his daughter fight, he could not say, but he did describe how tormenting it was for him and the rest of the family to watch the scene of horror from afar. He told the newspaper he had been sleepless ever since he watched the video of the fight. Consequently, an investigation has been opened into the death of the Mexican boxer. Women's boxing has made quite a breakthrough in the past decade, which is why the news of the young athlete's death came as much of a shock to the boxing world. Serious injuries in women's boxing remain a rare sight, owing to the shorter duration of women's bouts, which consists of only a 10-round duration, while also being a third shorter compared to men's championships. After Becky Zerlentes' death back in 2005, Zapata's death is the second known boxing death among women. As could have been expected, the premature death led to a wave of concerns and criticisms in the boxing community of Quebec and Mexico, who believed that had it not been for the accounts of grave negligence, the death could have been easily prevented. In light of this, Quebec's Minister of Public Safety, Geneviève Guilbeault, announced a few days later that the forensic investigation would be carried out by the provincial coroner's office to determine the probable causes and circumstances that led to the death of the fighter from the state of Aguascalientes. Stéphane Larouche, a leading trainer of several world champions, also gave his 2 cents of the matter, saying that a single death is an impact, so let's do better to prevent it, urging for better communication between entities that issue boxing licenses, standardization of requirements across different locations, and neuropsychological monitoring. He also requested more vigilance on the part of boxers' environment. Now, in other related news, Brain Injury Association demands the ban of boxing. Whether or not boxing should be outlawed has been a long debated topic, with the World Medical Association speaking in favor of the ban for years. Boxing is disliked by many since, unlike most other sports, the basic focus of boxing is to produce bodily harm to the opponent. A day after the 18-year-old Zapata's untimely death, the Britain-based Brain Injury Association Headway has once again called for a ban on boxing. Peter McCabe, the chief executive of Headway, said in a statement that it is impossible to understand the pain the family is experiencing after losing Zapata, who still had so much to accomplish. He further added that if boxing is not banned, there will be no end to such tragedies. Recently, Headway and other organizations provided the British Parliamentary Inquiry with evidence regarding concussions in sports and questioned why boxing was not under greater scrutiny, asking why people are still allowed to punch each other aggressively. He stated that despite the alarming consequences, no one is ready to address the apparent dangers of boxing. It's all rather unfortunate, but is it really the sport that's to be blamed for Zapata's professional career being reduced to a tragic ending? That's a wrap for this video. Who do you think should be held responsible for Zapata's death? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.